you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll give you guys a chance to come into the conversation, into the live stream. There's an interesting, a couple of interesting things to talk about today. I just sort of, follow the topics that the good Lord puts into my brain. And so today, the topic that really hit me was this really interesting and compelling story about T-Pain. T-Pain is he's known as kind of the auto tunes guy. I don't know if he's a singer or rapper or whatever, but T-Pain. I remember T-Pain's music. And I remember him. I couldn't understand why everybody liked his music so much, but then again, it was what it was. Taste. Everybody doesn't have the same taste. We all have different things that we like. And the interesting thing about T-Pain also is that the brother had a really interesting conversation with the Breakfast Club this week, in which he basically spoke up and fessed up to some interesting financial decisions that got him they caused him some major problems. What's going on, brother? How you doing? T-Pain did make that fire, says Jason Todd. Well, I guess you're right. Somebody liked his music, right? And he's clearly a musical genius, and I respect that. And I think that he is a person that is clearly clearly talented. He's not an untalented individual. So give me a second here. Yeah, so here's the deal. So I'm actually letting people know that we're live, and I'm actually putting it on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's actually Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. That's Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. Also, if you want to follow on Instagram, it's The Real Boyce Watkins. It's one word, The Real Boyce Watkins. I don't know if you guys know. I mentioned that we got a few interesting people coming into Dr. Boyce TV. Today we have Mike Roberts, who is a black billionaire. He's a black billionaire. I met him at the Fraser Net Conference. That's going to be later on today, August 14th at about 2:15 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to learn the secrets to becoming a billionaire, you might want to check this brother out. Him and his brother have done some amazing things. Also, Monique has agreed to come on to the podcast. So I look forward to that conversation. I just got a text this morning from our producer, Taryn, who said that Monique wants to know if she can bring her husband on with us. And I said, absolutely. I look forward to talking to Monique. I don't know, exactly what the nature of the conversation is going to be, but I look forward to talking to her because I've talked about her. So if I talk about you, I got to be ready to talk to you. So I'm always prepared for that. And anyway, so hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button. Also, shout out your city. Shout out your city. Damon says, when are you coming to Atlanta? Ironically, we just added Atlanta to our tour. Next week, I'll be in Atlanta the weekend of August 23rd. So I'm doing 3 events in Atlanta. Friday, I'm going to do a book signing and book signing meet and greet kind of thing. We can meet people. It'll be about an hour and a half. Then I'm going to give a short speech Saturday at the We Buy Black convention. I think they have a price to come into their convention. I don't know what that is. It's going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. Now, if you want to hang out with me all day in a small group setting with a lot of other Black wealth builders, Sunday I'm going to do a day-long investing seminar. If people love the seminar, it's really, really cool. And we'll have books like Powernomics and stuff like that. And everybody gets one of these cool Black Business School portfolios. And you'll be in there taking notes all day. So if you want a classroom setting, small group classroom setting, where you really want to actually learn and apply and become an investor and dig deeper into investing, that's where we get our hands dirty on Sunday. So if you're interested, go to drboyceatlanta.com. That's drboyceatlanta.com. In fact, the first 40 of you that sign up, you can actually get half off the seminar if you use the code Atlanta 2019. That's one word, not two words. Atlanta 2019 at drboyceatlanta.com. So I'll see you guys there. Now let's talk about T-Pain. Okay, so here's the deal. So T-Pain goes on the Breakfast Club and he speaks about his financial stuff. It's always interesting. I'm gonna tell you this. One thing that's interesting about Black people, because we're just extraordinary people, right? We're extraordinarily when we're on point, we're extraordinarily good. When we're off point, we're extraordinarily messy. We're just extraordinary. We're powerful, And so T-Pain tells an extraordinary story about how he, once had $40 million and then got to the point where he had to borrow money to buy a cheeseburger for his kids. And and here's the thing. I read it and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen the story about 85,000 times. You know, it's not uncommon for rappers and athletes to have really amazing stories about how much money they blew through. You know, you have a lot of people that don't quite understand the gravity of what it means to really have that kind of money, and nobody teaches them that. Nobody forces them to learn that, so they learn it the hard way. And T-Pain's, I admire the fact though that he spoke about it. I admire the fact that he was honest about it. I admire the fact that he's learned from it. And he's not that old. You know, his brother's 33 years old, which means that most of this happened when he was in his 20s. And that's not uncommon either. You know, when you're young and you get that kind of bank, it's easy to just think the money's never going to run out, and I'm just going to just make it rain everywhere, right? Very few young people can really rise above that in terms of maturity to be able to protect that kind of wealth at that age. Here's what I think though. I don't even know. I guess T-Pain is part of the hip hop industry or R&B. I don't know if he's a singer or rapper or what. I don't that auto tunes shit. That ain't really my style, to be honest with you. But in that particular culture, hip hop culture, entertainment culture, etc. We've been in this game for a minute. Like we black people have been making millions in this game for a while. You have OGs in the game, Russell Simmons type people who've been, messing with hip hop for 40 years. You have people that, like one of my good friends, a guy I respect so much, is Kenny Gamble out of Philadelphia. He's been in this game writing songs, doing great things for many, many decades. Kenny Gamble has always provided a wonderful blueprint for any artist that wants to make the most out of his wealth. If you go down to downtown Philadelphia, Kenny Gamble owns a big chunk of downtown Philadelphia. Kenny Gamble, tells the story quite often that when he first got his royalties from writing songs, first thing he did, his friend said, "So what you gonna do? You gonna go buy you a new Cadillac?" And he said, "No." He said, I'm gonna go. And he went to find somebody he knew that had actually made some money. And he said, "What do I do with money? How do you manage money?" And the guy explained to him how you manage your money. And so Kenny had the brilliant idea in the 1970s to engage in reverse gentrification or black gentrification. What Kenny did was he said, "I want to go back and I want to buy my old neighborhood." Now, this was visionary. He decided to do this in the 70s. So he went and, he takes his money and he goes, in the first place thing he does is he buys his old house in his old neighborhood. And then he doesn't just buy his, he didn't just buy his house. He bought like dozens of houses in that neighborhood, and his plan, he had a master plan. He had a powernomics plan. His powernomics plan was, with all this money we're making in the entertainment industry, we can own this whole damn neighborhood. We can own all of this shit. We can own every single block. Ain't no excuses. We can do this. And you know what his problem was? His problem was that people didn't listen. People didn't listen. The Negroidian culture of money management was, nah, I don't want to go make no investments. I'm gonna go buy me a car. I'm gonna go buy me, the flyest clothes. I'm gonna go rent me the nicest apartment owned by some white man so I can pay his mortgage. That's the Negroidian financial culture that other people fed this to us and we fed it to each other. And he didn't have any help. Kenny did all this by himself. Imagine what Kenny could have done if 50 people in the music industry all pulled their money together and just said, we're going to buy as much of Philadelphia as we possibly can. And they're buying houses in the 1970s for, $5,000 a piece, $15,000 a pop, right? They could have done that easy. And so the thing is, and Kenny was never, secretive about this information. He always was ready to train anybody in the music industry who wanted to learn. Problem is, half y'all Negroes don't want to learn shit. Seriously, I'm not dissing nobody. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, because this is all white. This is white supremacy, right? Because first thing we do is we let white people educate our kids, and that's where we go wrong. because they educate your children to be stupid. They educate your children to believe that as long as I can dribble a basketball, throw a football, or rap a song, or make, whatever, that I'm gonna be okay. And you ain't okay. You ain't okay, because you're being sucked into a culture that is a drain on your possibilities. You're being sucked into a culture that sucks out your family wealth. You're being sucked into a culture that increases your likelihood of going to the penitentiary. You're being sucked into a culture that increases your likelihood of ending up in a casket. You're getting sucked into a culture that increases your likelihood of getting hooked on drugs or getting into stupid situations. You're getting sucked into a culture that makes you believe that if you ain't keeping it stupid, that you ain't keeping it real. That if you ain't out here acting a motherfucking fool, excuse my friends, I'm gonna stop cussing. It's too early for me to be cussing. I apologize. If you being sucked into a culture that makes you believe that if you ain't out here acting dumb with your money and dumb with your life, that you ain't a real black man. That you ain't, oh, you acting white, man. You acting white. Why you over here talking about investing? Don't nobody talk about investing. Come on, man. Come on, come on, nigga. Let's go get this Gucci, man. Let's go Gucci, 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 Gucci everywhere. Like rapping about white people's European-owned products, like giving them free advertising. Did y'all know that the founder of Louis Vuitton just announced that he is now the third richest man on earth? The third rich, excuse me, scratch that. I believe third richest man in the history of the world. And a big chunk of his wealth came from free advertising from rappers who love to rap about Louis and Gucci. Y'all, they ain't rapping about no black products. Don't want to build your own community up. Fuck black people. Who wants to be black? Nobody cares about black people. But we're gonna rap about Louis Vuitton and make the owner of Louis Vuitton rich, even though he doesn't show up when a young black man gets shot dead in the street by the police or by another brother. He don't show up when black families are being divided and broken into pieces over mass incarceration, when Bill Clinton decided to send hundreds of thousands of black men to prison during his mass incarceration Holocaust. Like, he don't show up when your family is getting evicted from their apartment and can't pay the bills. He don't show up when the black community needs him, but y'all showed up for him every day because y'all loyal to massa. Y'all loyal to massa. Y'all won't make yourselves rich, but you make massa rich and be very consistent for him. So I think that, again, you got to go back to the culture, man. Money and wealth and investing is a culture. Asian communities that build strong communities, when they get that, if they saw somebody get the money, 40 million, T-Pain said he had $40 million. In an Asian community or Jewish community, you get a hold of 40 million and you go out here spending like an idiot, people will show up and they'll kick your ass. They'll be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Do you know what you're doing to your own people? Do you know what you're throwing away when you're doing this? Do you know babies are starving now? People going through hell now, can't even pay the bills now because you out here trying to go and be the flyest dude in the club or whatever it is you're trying to do. We have to, it's time to stop having these stories being told. BET, which is a white-owned network that pretends to represent black people, BET has this series called Blew a Bag, where they make jokes about black people who have had millions of dollars and blew all their money. They be there and laugh about it. Yeah, I get that. There was some dude on there. I wanted to kick him in his face. This dude, I felt bad. I wanted to kick him in his face, but hug him and educate him at the same time. I didn't know how I felt. So I try to be patient. But there's some guy on there, had like 5 kids, 5 babies, mamas, can't pay the child support, came into like a couple million. He's like, yeah, we just went a fool, man. We rented out the whole top floor of the hotel in Vegas, and we had strippers and Cristal and all this and blah 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 blah. And he's just doing this with the money. Blew it all. 2 million. Blew it all. You got kids, you idiot. You blew it all. You got kids, bro. What's wrong with you? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? And that's funny to you that now your children will grow up in abject poverty because their father decided to piss on their legacy. He decided to flush their possibilities down the toilet. That's funny to you? Like that's like a comedy series for you? Like that's like BET that celebrates this? Like they think that that's cool? Like what's cool about Black economic genocide? You know, how y'all gonna act like you serious about a reparations conversation when every time you get a dollar bill, you're telling each other to give the dollar bills away? Man, you don't need no reparations, because if you're stupid with your money, then what's the point in giving it to you? It's gonna go right through you. They hand you the money, you're gonna give it right back. So why don't we just cut out the middleman and just keep the money a damn self? At least that's what the powers that be are thinking. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Everybody who's watching, please hit the thumbs up button. That really helps us a lot. Also, if you do like to teach financial literacy to your kids, stuff like that, we actually create tools. You guys know I'm a finance professor. That's why these things matter to me. But I'm a black man first. So whenever I see anything involving black people and money, I'm always interested in that. And we created things like financial flashcards for kids, like entrepreneurship flashcards and stuff like that, specifically for black kids. So if you want to go take a look, you can actually go to financialflashcards.com, or we also have workbooks like financialworkbooks.com. So you can go to financialflashcards.com or financialworkbooks.com. So these are some of our entrepreneurship flashcards. We actually have appraisal and then the definitions on the back. Annual report, like what is an annual report? The definitions on the back. Angel investor, what is that? Definitions on the back, right? Advertising, what is that? Definitions on the back. So my argument is that a lot of these T-Pain kinds of problems can be, you know, fixed if we go ahead and start making sure that our kids are as good at managing their money as they are at managing a white man's football or a white man's basketball. Like if we protect our money the way we protect the ball when we're on the basketball court, then we won't have any more problems, because y'all know how to protect a basketball. We know how to dunk it. We know how to score. We know how to shoot and dribble and pass and all these things. So that takes millions and millions and millions. You know, that takes a lot of effort. It takes a kid has put thousands of hours into becoming a great football or basketball player, but most of them will never make a penny playing football or basketball. So if you want to know why they're broke, it's very easy to explain why black people grow up broke. It ain't just systematic issues. Yeah, sure, okay, you start off in poverty, but why aren't you working to get away from that? You know, if you spend all your time getting away from poverty, people I know that spend all their time learning wealth to get away from poverty, they don't end up broke. So the solution is right in front of you. The question is, do you want the solution, or do you want to have the same life you had before? It's a perfect choice. Charles says, yo, the Black Millionaires on Tomorrow books for kids are awesome. Thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. Anybody else who's had experience with anything from the Black Business School, I hope that you'll shout it out on a regular basis, because we really want to educate the community on financial literacy and wealth building. And you can actually join for free if you want to actually get like a personal wealth plan, or talk to one of our enrollment specialists, or just learn more about the school, or figure out where you might fit. Just go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. Totally free. You can talk to them. You can sign up for free, get started for free. And then if you decide you want to upgrade to something, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. So feel free to take a look. Just ordered 4 books for my daughter and nephews. Thanks, Uncle Boyce. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. My kids are working on Black Millionaires of Tomorrow now. Good. Well, the thing is, here's what's going to happen. You know, because I've been teaching finance to college students for a long time, I know what they know when they graduate. And so the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program was built to give our children, in a really fun way, like we use cartoons and animation and all that. A fun way to give them 2 things. One is this college level skill when it comes to wealth building. I believe that black people can actually move ahead in the wealth race by going to business school early. The same way we go to football camp at 7, I want kids going to business camp. If black boys and black children go to entrepreneurship camp, wealth camp, investing camp at the age of 6 or 7, then they're going to be way ahead of everybody else. Once a kid learns to make money has a dopamine rush, kind of the way, a drug does. And once they make a little money at an early age, they're like, ooh, I want to do more of this. I don't want to go work for nobody. I want to go and invest. I hear stories like this all the time, but one lady that came on the podcast said her daughter took $1,000 and turned it into $8,300, and she was 12 years old. And I don't know how she did. I don't know what stock she bought. Well, I wish I knew. But once she did that, it changed everything. It changed how she viewed money. She learned that money is not something you have to work for all the time. It's something that you can make other moves and get money. Also, her siblings started saying, "Hey, how did she do that? Like, I want some money too." So feel free to check it out. We have a digital component, which you can find it. Somebody please type this in so other people can see it. It's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's the digital. So you get the two things you get. One is college level financial literacy training for children, but then two, they can get a degree and certificate. And I want you to, that's very important. I want you to print that out, put it on the wall, and tell them you graduated. You had your first college professor at the age of 7. That will give them a huge head start, because I didn't meet a black college professor till I was 19 years old. I still to this day never have had a black teacher in any class, in any college level class or graduate school class. And I was in grad school. I finished grad school when I was 31, and so I did all those years of school. I never had a black teacher. So when they see that black male professor at the age of 7, it reshapes how they view everything and how they view their possibilities. So everything we do is black, 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 super, super black, 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 bliggity black all the time. We love being black. We believe that solving the black wealth issue is it's worthy of being a lifetime mission. That's what we dedicate our time to, and that's what we're damn good at. So feel free to go take a look. Blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's the digital component. If you want to look at the flashcards and workbooks, we actually have a bundle you can buy for your kids tomorrow if you want to, or today. You can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Somebody says, when and where is the camp for kids? We don't have a camp yet. We're thinking about having a physical camp. We're really looking for somebody that can teach kids in a way that we would feel comfortable, and it requires a huge investment. It's not just something where you just say, okay, let's just do it. You got to organize it. Every city we go to costs money, and so that's why, if you want to know, well, why is there a cost for a ticket? If it could be free, yeah, we do it for free. But the thing is, we don't accept corporate sponsors, because when you're really, really black, you don't get the same support. Or you don't get the same freedom. Like people kind of are afraid of being black. So a lot of corporate sponsors like Bank of America or whatever, they know that I'm a financial influencer. They know that if I tell people, hey, go check out Bank of America, they'll do it. But a lot of people don't want the dangers and the risk of being associated with unapologetic blackness. Like they fear that, right? And I'm not going to change who I am. So we just say, well, if we can't get the money to do it right now, we'll just do it later. But your support does mean a lot. So let's see here. We need you to set up small groups, SUSUs, to be distributed via network marketing. I'm not doing network marketing, just so you know, David. I don't push any of that on my platform, because I could literally, a person in my position could get a federal charge for pushing network marketing on a platform this big. So I don't mess with any of that. No disrespect to it. It's just not my thing. Let me see here. Somebody else asked another question. About Atlanta. Where's the event going to be in Atlanta? We're going to pick our venue today. We got a couple of venue options offered to us. We just decided yesterday we're going to go ahead and do some stuff in Atlanta. So if you want to learn more or meet up with me in Atlanta or do the seminar in Atlanta, just go to drboyceatlanta.com. Also, the All Black National Convention is in Houston in September. I encourage you to fly in for one of those events, especially the convention. The convention is really, really good. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. So let me lay out one more thing about T-Pain. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button and all that stuff. One thing about T-Pain, and I want to make sure this is clear. He was on the Breakfast Club when he was confessing, as to how he blew through $40 million and everything else. And I respect him for that. I want to make that clear. I respect the fact that he was even talking about it. Some people won't talk about it, and he was it seemed like he was trying to communicate a message and a lesson to younger guys. And I hope that they listen. One thing I've observed was he mentioned that his proudest moment was when he was able to provide for his family. He said, when I was able to provide for my kids, that was my proudest moment. And that's not uncommon either. You get to my stage in life, I'm not too much older than T-Pain, but I'm old enough to be his older brother. Like, I'm 15 years older than him. And in Chicago, I could probably be his daddy, because people here have kids at 15 years old. But I wouldn't see myself as old enough to be his father, but old enough to give him advice. And one of the things I can say is I hear that a lot. One of the reasons that I really encourage you to understand how understanding wealth, as a young boy is so important is because a man's self-esteem is heavily connected to his ability to provide and to protect. If a man cannot provide and protect, not only will he feel less of himself, but women will feel less of him also. Like, women literally are less sexually attracted. Studies show this. Tell me, ladies, tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm right, if you agree. Studies show that women are less attracted to men when you're a financial wimp. when you can't provide. Like you go out to dinner and you asking her to cover half the bill. Or I talked to a friend that lives in LA the other day, and she was telling me about how she went to LA and she kept meeting with what are called these what they call hobosexuals. These dudes that she said, Boyce, they fine as hell, they good looking as hell, but they ain't got nothing going on financially. Like they'll come in and want to sleep on your floor. And she said, I went out with this guy, he was really good looking and intelligent and talented, and we went out to eat and he was like, oh, I forgot my wallet. And I was thinking about it, I said, wow, and she literally at that point, it was like flatline, like there was no no interest she had whatsoever in any further activity with this man, because genetically through 300,000 years of evolution, her body was wired to not be sexually attracted to this man, because her instincts were saying, don't mate with this person because this person is not a good mate. And I was thinking about him, and I said he probably felt like shit. He probably felt really bad about the fact that he had to lie and pretend like he left his wallet to avoid the embarrassment of the fact that he cannot afford to buy you a cheeseburger, right? And so basically when T-Pain said my proudest moment was providing for my kids, that's not uncommon. That was my proudest moment too. My proudest moment was when my daughter called me complaining about the white people on her job and how she hated it. And I love the fact that as a father, as a king, I could step in and say, you know what, just quit your job tomorrow. Tell those people you're not coming in and you're going to come work with me. Like that made me feel like I was able to protect, and every man wants that. And black men are not afforded that very easily in America, because the white man never wanted the black man to be a competitor or to be strong. They wanted the black man to be a little boy. They want you to be a little boy, or they want you to be a bitch, a little boy or a bitch. That's why if you look in Hollywood, the men who get the best opportunities in Hollywood tend to be men who are either excessively juvenile, like you 40 years old acting like a damn teenager. Like I saw 2 Chainz wearing a clown. Literally, he was in a commercial and he had an outfit on that looked like a clown's outfit. It was rapper 2 Chainz. Yeah, he was in a beauty salon, right? Sitting next to a lady, and they was getting they was getting a pedicure, or so it was something like that. And he was wearing like a clown outfit. So if you're like a joke, or if you're like feminized or whatever, then that makes you less threatening. That's when they say, come on in, Negro. We like that. We like your juvenile. You're so funny, right? The easiest way for black men to get ahead in Hollywood is to be funny. The easy way to get booted out is to be serious, right? Because when you're a serious black man, they're afraid of you. When you're a funny black man, they love you. Oh, you're so great. You're so good. I saw your show. And then the other thing about juvenile, one example is the Migos. The Migos went into, they did that Mountain Dew commercial. And I've talked about that Mountain Dew commercial because people don't understand how deep that was. These guys literally rode in that Mountain Dew commercial on tricycles. They were on big wheels. It was something like that, something that a child rides. These Negro, and I froze. I said, wait a minute, are these grown ass men, fathers, riding big wheels? Like, isn't a big wheel for a 4-year-old? Like when I was 7, I was too old for a big wheel, right? I don't know about y'all. I don't know what year y'all stopped riding big wheels, but there's something about the black man being a joke, or being a bitch, or being unthreatening, or being ignorant. All these things, and that's why ignorance is mass promoted through music. Half your rappers can't even read. R. Kelly, right now to this day cannot read. 50 years old, can't read. Now maybe R. Kelly has a brain condition. That I've heard that people try to teach him how to read and never learned it. But I bet you that there was money or extra sex attached to learning how to read. Like if he had to learn how to read to figure out where the vagina was, I bet R. Kelly would have figured out how to learn how to read. I call me crazy, but I really believe that that he could, I believe he could fly if you given him the right incentive. There was no incentive for him to really learn how to read. There was incentive for him to make great music, and incentive for him to get money and power, so he could get all the women or whatever, right? But I think the fact that you have black men that that aren't where they need to be intellectually, and we think that's okay. Like we think that that's a good, like we think that's cool. We think that's funny. We think that's awesome. You got to understand how that plays out in your outcomes. You got to understand how this directly connects to the fact that black people are at the bottom of the totem pole in almost every category. How we are literally behind the 8 ball in everything. Like we're literally getting our ass kicked. and we complain about oppression, but the question is, who's really doing all the oppressing? You see, white supremacy is not a one person, a one team activity. It's not like one side has decided that white supremacy is going to work in America. It's not that white people are the only ones who decided this. Black people have decided this too. White people could decide to stop oppressing you tomorrow completely in every category. And there are some black people who would oppress themselves, who say, well, I'm kind of used to being in the back. I'm kind of used to not reading and not being educated. White people don't oppress you and tell you you can't read books. They might oppress us in other ways. We know that this is true, but they don't, if I pick up a book and start reading, there's not a white man, there's not a white state police that are going to come through my door, kick my door down and say, we heard that niggas was reading in this house. We're going to send everybody to jail. They don't do that anymore. They did that during slavery. So the question is, who's making you the slave? Why aren't you learning anything? So I think that with T-Pain, I feel bad for him because I feel like the man he became, somebody told him it was okay to be that man. The choices he made, somebody told him it was okay, either by saying it was okay or not saying anything about it. Somebody made him feel that lifestyle, or that those choices, that those were okay choices, that those were normal decisions, right? Nobody stopped him to say, what are you doing, man? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, bro, this is crazy. You have $40 million. $40 million means you're basically a walking corporation. Like, do you know what I would, if I had a $40 million check right now? Let me just make this clear. If I had a $40 million check, and I know what it feels like to make over $1 million. Right? I know little things like that, right? I've had that feeling. I'm not gonna go into the details because I don't like talking about. I don't like counting money out in public like that. But I've had that feeling of what it means to have a lot of money. But I'll tell you, if I had a check for $40 million, my grandchildren and great grandchildren would have no financial problems whatsoever. Ain't nobody in my family gonna have to work for nobody. Because you could take 40 million and turn that into a $250 million in about a decade if you're smart with it. Do you know how many black businesses you could create with 40 million? Do you know how much property you could buy for 40 million? Do you know how much stock you could buy for $40 million? Do you know how many children you could educate with 40 million? So remember, when you hear about a black man that has that kind of money, 40 million, 50 million, 100 million, like Adrian Peterson, the football player, had 99 million, Antoine Walker had 110 million. When you're hearing about these black millionaires who are giving all their money away to white people, like literally flush their money down the toilet, count that against the reparations checks that everybody's trying to get. Count that against the fact that we think that our economic success opportunity is going to come down to what somebody else gives us. How can you make that argument when you're giving everything away and you think that's okay? It's not a state of emergency. Also understand that when they do that, when they give that money away, you're not just giving away the money, you're giving away all the money that would have been generated if you had managed that money properly. $100 million can easily turn into $1 billion in a person's lifetime. Like LeBron James is going to be a billionaire. I can tell you that right now. He's making all the right moves right now because he's flipping. He's just flipping what he had. Michael Jordan is already a billionaire. Why? Well, because he kept flipping. Michael Jordan couldn't become a billionaire off his paychecks. Michael Jordan's going to be a billionaire off of his investments because he knew how to flip his money. He's flip. That's all every year he's just flipping. And that's why you're seeing his wealth grow at astronomical levels. So, when somebody loses $100 million, they're not losing $100 million. They're losing $1 billion of black wealth that's being donated to white supremacy. It's almost like if a child dies, if a little girl dies, it's not just the end of the little girl's life. If you're a real visionary, you understand reproduction. You understand it's not just her death; it's the death of her whole generational line. Like that child is supposed to grow up and have maybe 3 kids. Those 3 kids, maybe they have 3 kids of their own. That's 9. Those 9 kids have 3 kids of their own. That's 27. So that's 27 plus 9, which is 30. What's that? 36 plus 3, which is 39. So that's almost 40 people. 40 people died when that little girl died. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Are y'all following what I'm saying? Tell me if you understand what I'm saying. When that little girl dies, it's not just her. It's 40, 50, 60 people. It's her and everything that's going to come from her. All the fruit that she will produce for the world is gone, right? So when a person loses $1, they're losing all the things that dollar could have done, all the extra dollars that would have come from that dollar. So it's not funny when a black person blows a bag. That is not a comedy series. BET needs to stop making jokes about that. You know, it's like making jokes about the Jewish Holocaust, you know, or whatever, you know, except it's not as bad as actually killing people, but actually, you know, poverty does kill black people. Poverty does destroy families. Poverty causes, you know, mental illness. It causes people to go to prison. You know, when I talked to a young brother in Chicago who was 24 years old, who was obsessed, he used to, you know, be a gangbanger. And he said, man, he said, we want to learn the stuff that you teach, because he said a lot of us get killed out in the streets trying to make money because we don't know what to do. So because we don't know how to make money, we do dumb shit to try to get money, and it gets us killed. It gets us sent to prison. So literally, when you are celebrating the black economic genocide, or the black economic holocaust, or black financial bad financial decision making, you're celebrating the death of black people. You're celebrating the death of entire communities. You go to parts of Chicago and other cities, and you see areas that look like war zones, property that could be bought if we have the vision to go and pool our money together and go buy those assets. But we don't. We'd rather go put money in the pockets of people like the creator of Louis Vuitton, who's now worth over $100 billion, because we have a culture built on financial stupidity. So T-Pain's bad decisions are not uncommon. They are what in finance we call that systematic. They are systematic because y'all can tell me yes or no, yes or no. Tell me yes or no. Have you heard that story before? Yes or no? Are there other stories in the industry just like T-Pain's? Yes or no? How many do you see other stories like this on a regular basis? Yes or no? Do you feel like you see a story like this at least once a month? Yes or no? Do you see this happening all the time with black men? And the people who can least afford to give their wealth away, all their money away, is the black man, because you're the one that's trying to kill the most. So why would you take your weapon and give it away to your oppressor? And why would you be surprised when your oppressor can take you out when you just handed them your weapon? That's like me saying, well, every time we get the ball in the game, we give it over to the defense. We just hand them the ball so they can score. But I don't understand why we lost by 150 points. It doesn't make any sense. They just cheating. They just cheating. But every time you get the ball, you hand the ball to the other team. Well, why are you surprised? Connect the dots, motherfucker. Like, seriously, like, connect the dots. Like, you're handing them the ball I'm like LeBron. You know, LeBron was like, man, what are you doing? Remember that in the game where he's like, what are you doing? Right? I'm like, LeBron, I'm like, you're handing the ball to the opponent. So why are you surprised that we're getting our ass kicked? That's what happens when you can't defend the ball. So I'm saying to the black man, when you get your hand on $1, defend the goddamn ball. Defend the ball. Protect the ball and score points for your community so that you can win the damn game. Kenny Gamble, OGs like that have been teaching you for 50 years how to defend the ball, but some of us think that's lame. We think it's lame to be able to provide for our families. We think it's lame to build a future for our children. We think it's lame to want to be educated to support the people we love. We think it's lame to defend our communities and to buy the property. We think it's lame to invest and have assets so that we don't have to stay in the struggle. Like, we think it's lame to pick up a goddamn book. Like, we think all that shit is lame, and it ain't our fault entirely. It's a whole culture that is mass promoted deliberately to destroy you. They want your black ass to be extinct. They want you dead. They want you wiped off the face of the earth. They only want you around if they can make money off of you through mass incarceration or you working for them or whatever. They do not want you to prosper. They do not want you to have real power. Don't you understand that? And Shaniqua says Tupac said it. I don't know what you mean by exactly what Tupac said, but I'm gonna tell you one thing Tupac did say that T-Pain said. I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna finish up here. Tupac said it in one of his songs. He said, something about, I forgot, it was a lyric where he said it was nice paying rent when the rent's due. And he was talking about the pride a black man gets when he can provide for his family and he can pay the bills on time. Like, people that dodge the landlord have to hide when the landlord comes to the door. Like, I've lived that life. I know what that feels like, right? When mama's like, don't answer the door, whatever, right? Or the car gets repossessed, whatever. I thought somebody stole the car, but the car got took. But I know that feeling. And nobody wants to live like that. People that do those things, they don't want to live that way. Like, nobody wants to steal for a living or sit around, and most people don't anyway. Most people I know that steal or cheat or have to lie or have to be shady when it comes to money, they don't want to do that. I talked to somebody the other day who owes me money, and she sent a message where she was embarrassed that she had to do some things to, or be slick about repaying me or whatever, where I had to chase her down, like, why aren't you gonna pay me my money back, right? And she was embarrassed, but I could tell that if she'd have the money, she would have paid it back. So when T-Pain said that my proudest moment was when I provided for my family, that ain't uncommon. That's what a man's supposed to do. Tupac said that. Tupac said the same damn thing. So I'm saying, just restore your pride. Restore your dignity, black man. Reattach your nuts to your body. Start being a man. Stop acting like a damn little boy or a damn little bitch. Seriously, let's build something, man. Let's just be strong for our people. Let's see here. You're kidding me. Lay says, hey, Uncle Boyce, thanks for the free advice. I was awarded that 3,030. Sorry, look, I said the number wrong. She said I was awarded that $396,594 contract this fiscal year. So everybody, I want you to give a digital round of applause to Lace Will, who just announced that she, I guess as a result of what we're learning here and the stuff we're talking about, I don't take any credit for it. She gets all the credit. She just got a contract for almost $400,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's black power right there for y'all. And then she gonna donate $5. Girl, you better step that donation up, girl. How you gonna give me $5 for $400,000 worth of advice? I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. I love you so much, and I'm super happy for you, and I'm super proud of you. And I want to hear all your success stories, and I'll never get tired of hearing them. When I see you guys in person and you guys tell me about great things that are happening in your life as a result of financial moves you made, I never get tired of hearing those stories, because that's what tells me that part of my purpose is being fulfilled on this earth. I'm not here just to, I'm not sitting around trying to just fucking be famous and shit. Like, who cares about that? Fame means nothing if you don't elevate the lives of other people around you. So what I like to hear is not, it's fine if you say, oh, I saw you. You're the guy I see on YouTube, or I know you from some. That's nice, but that doesn't do it. What does it for me is when somebody says, oh, I got all my kids investing now because of you, or me and my wife just bought a property because you inspired us to buy a property, or we just started a business and we just made our first $200,000 because you actually motivated me to quit my job. That's when I started saying, yes, yes. Like, I'm talking to little Boyce on the inside of my head. I'm like, we're doing it, man. Keep going, Boyce. Come on, keep going. Because you got to do that, because you get the haters and stuff, right? So you need the motivation. So it's like a reminder, like, yes, we are doing this. We are winning this game. We are protecting the ball, and we are scoring points. And it's a team sport. Powernomics is a team sport. So keep playing the sport. Keep playing to the best of your ability. And I cannot tell you how much your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to benefit from the vision that you have in this generation. Never underestimate the power of your vision, because if you'd had somebody in 1919 in your family doing the same things you're doing right now, and they put that in your family culture, it would have an enormous impact on 2019. So I want you to think about 2119, and that's where you're going to be great. That's where your legend lives. You don't live in the present. You don't live in the future. You live in the past. You are nothing more than a memory of your future ancestors. That's what you are. That's what we are. We are a living memory of future ancestors. And so our job is to do whatever we can to set them up, to pass them the ball and put them in a good position, give them the knowledge, give them the guidance, give them the culture. You have all that power, and that's what they're gonna take that as gospel, and that's what's gonna elevate them to greatness. So just keep going, keep moving. Congratulations again, sister. I'm super proud of you, super happy for you. And Shaniqua says, I got my LLC license. I love it. One day I should just get on here and we just tell our stories, right? Just like in church, something called like testimonials or something like that. We do our little testimony or whatever. All right. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Please hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button. Also, I'll be in Atlanta the weekend of August 23rd. 3 events. I'll do a book signing meet and greet on Friday. Saturday, I'll speak at the We Buy Black convention. Sunday, I'm going to do a day-long 7-hour investment seminar. It's really, really awesome. You'll love it. When you come in, you get like one of these portfolios from the Black Business School. And also there's a book bundle that you can obtain if you want. I'll sign all your books. But then also we're going to learn investing all day long. And it'll be a small group so that you'll get to talk to me directly and stuff like that. And then also the All Black National Convention is in Houston in August. So if you want to come to the convention, which you should, I highly recommend it. You're going to love it. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, if you want to take a look at our financial workbooks for children and things like that, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Some of you asked about programs for adults. I have a stock market class and a master class online. Feel free to start here. Go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. And this won't cost you a penny. You can talk to one of our enrollment specialists that are waiting on the line for you right now, and they can talk you through what you might want to sign up for based on what your goals are. So if you want to be an investor, we have something for that. If you want to own real estate, we have an extraordinary real estate program. If you want to learn to start a business, we have an awesome entrepreneurship program. So feel free to go take a look. theblackbusinessschool.com. All right, guys, so I'm out of here. Have a good day. I love you. This is real. And once again, T-Pain, no disrespect. Thank you for telling your story, and thank you for letting me be honest in my response. And I think I'm going to New York in October to do a seminar there. So maybe Charlemagne will have me on the Breakfast Club at that point or something. I don't know. I've been on there enough times. I don't need to go back anymore, but he did mention wanting me to come back again. So maybe October is when we'll go in there. Maybe we can break down some of this stuff. I think it's always fun to talk about what we've seen and what we've seen as a community, so we can sort of learn from that and grow from that, right? Not just sort of see it as entertainment. All right, so I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace. Mm-hmm.